Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while, but today we're going to be taking a look at my latest build, and I'm going to be doing a bit of a technique breakdown, and there'll be some photos that you've probably already seen because this is a showcase as well, but I'm just going to get into how I built some of the things and some of the parts that I used so that you guys can use these techniques at home. Before we get into the build, the Jedi standing there on the left hand side is credit to Robert or underscore brick fanatic underscore. I'll leave links to his Instagram in the description, and the bunker partial credit goes to Catalyst Bricks or Ethan, and then Luca or Lucas Projects. So that's their bunker design, but I'm just gonna go into kind of a bit of the techniques I use in this build, so stay tuned and I'll hop right into it. Okay, so one of the first parts of the build we're going to be looking at here is the tree. Just going to move that away. So this tree design is pretty cool. It's been around for a while now, and I'd say it's quite popular if you've seen builds on Instagram. But it's using a leaf weaving technique, which just uses this tree parts, and they're connected together. And as you connect them together, you can easily put them on top of a big rod like this one here. So you may be wondering, how do you connect these parts? Well, it's actually quite simple. So if I'm just going to take two here, you position them kind of downward like that, and you just hook the leaf in and up. I'll link an online tutorial of how to do it, but you do it facing forward, and then you're slowly kind of creating this circle, and then you make a bunch of these. And it's pretty cool because you're able to connect them, and by connecting them you can get them onto the tree, and that would be like the biggest one. So now onto the standard tree design. So this is kind of the base of the tree. It's really nothing too special. Here's the top. It's just stacked bricks, and then I had this piece here because I didn't want anyone to see any other colors inside of the tree besides the brown. So I did that, but theoretically no one will really see past the leaves. That's just connected to the top. And then for the trunk design, this design isn't mine. I'll leave a link to the person that came up with it in the description. But what I've done is I've used this rubber band. But before I get into why I had to use that, we'll look at the design. So the design is pretty simple. It's just a lot of Travis bricks, and then the Travis bricks are circled around each other like that. And it's kind of like just a big circle of Travis bricks. Let's see if it focuses. Yeah, if you can see, it's kind of just like a big circle of Travis bricks. And I can show you the other side as well. Kind of just looks like that on the interior. And then on the outside, you put a plate, and then your put your bricks and then your plate. And when you do that, it creates this gap, and it's really useful to fill this gap with just a flex tube like that, as shown. And when you fill the gap with a flex tube, it kind of just like goes away. So that's pretty cool. But that's the tree design. Next up, I'll move on to kind of the foliage and how I did that. So the foliage used in this build is all pretty simple. It's using three main parts. The stem here, the standard grass stem, except in olive green, and then some of these new plant pieces. I think they're new in olive green. And what I've done is, I think this technique is pretty popular. You put these on top of the stems, and then it just gives kind of a nicer look. And then I incorporated a few of these into the foliage. Nothing special, anyone can do it. The only thing I do have to say is these olive stems are extremely expensive on Bricklink. I don't know if there's a place to get them cheaper, but they are quite pricey. I know these were actually at my pick-a-brick cup, so I was able to get a big cup of these. But these olive pieces are definitely a bit pricey, so I don't see why the price would go down a bit. But if you're thinking of picking them up, I picked them up soon. This is literally, I don't have very many of the stems But yeah, so that's how we did the foliage. So now one of the more anticipated parts of the video is the bunker right here. This design is very finicky, at least the way I did it. However, before getting into that, I do want to show you this crate design. It's not mine, but I use it in the build. I think it's cool. It's literally just these round bricks, and then you put the 1x1 tiles into them. And it just does a good job of creating kind of like a nice sci-fi looking, kind of Star Wars-y type of crate. So, you know, it's pretty cool. I use some old gray bricks on top to give it like kind of nice texture. But now into the build. So the roof is probably the easiest part. I'll move the bunker out of the way for now, but the roof is just standard bricks just placed on top of each other. And then I don't know, on the bunker on end door you see kind of these like things on top, and I kind of replicated off of that. But these are really easy to make. It's just a round brick like that. I don't know how many sets these come in, I just found some in my collection. And then the thing that goes on top is another round brick, one with the hole in it. And then you get a piece like this, and you kind of just snap these two together, and then you place it on top. Honestly, I think it looks pretty good. And these are just held in by one of the snot bricks. These are just ladders that I placed in, nothing special. If you do want to use this design though, the one thing I do have to say is for the top, to get this like kind of off-centered look, this roof design is from Ethan Catalyst Bricks, and I asked him if I could use it. So if you do use it, I would credit him in the build. But he had it really nicely off-centered in the build that he had it in, and you know, I want to do something similar, but to get like kind of this like off-centered look by half a stud, you do have to use kind of these bricks where it's able to set the stud off by a bit, and you kind of place it like that, and you see the connect in there, and it does really give a much nicer look. So now onto the bunker itself. I actually got quite a few questions about this. It's really not that hard to build, it's nothing special. I'll just focus on one side because both the sides are the same. I'm not going to be keeping this build. It was quite complicated to build. It took me a few hours. But the main parts you need for this, anyone can create it, are just hinges. Hinges are the key. I'm not going to be going a step-through-step tutorial to do this. It's quite easy to figure it out on your own. It's just a lot of hinges and moving the hinges into the right spot so that everything fits together. If you're wondering about the wall design is quite simple. All that I've done is, if we look on the side here, you can see got the inverted bricks, and let's see if it comes apart. There we go. All I've done to get this wall design is have those bricks, and then you just plop these on top. They're just all tiled, and then to kind of get those like bars in between, just stack a few studs. Quite simple design. And after you stack a few studs, you just kind of like place it in between. I don't know, this is definitely a very cool design, but it is quite simple. The rest of the build is all made by hinges. All these pieces are just on hinges, as you can see here. Like I said, I'm not going to do like an in-depth thing on how to do this. It's quite self-explanatory. I think if you fiddle around with it for like 20 minutes, you'll be able to get everything in place. If you do want to build a bunker though, I always start with the roof because it gives you kind of how big you want it to be. But yeah, that's pretty much all for this build. All the interesting things. Once again, credit to the Brick Fanatic I think, for the Jedi, and then the bunker to Lucas Projects and Catalyst Bricks. But if you guys are interested in those, you can feel free to check them out. But other than that, that's done for the technique breakdown. It was a bit long, but also pretty cool. I hope everyone like learned a bit, or learned a new technique, or is able to find something they can use in their next build. But other than that, I'm going to be working on some more projects that should hopefully come soon. And yeah, stay tuned for more awesome creations. See ya.